and welcome back to another video. We have finally received our November ScrawlrBox. It has been quite a wait for this one, and I know a lot of you are very frustrated, those that have subscribed because of the Royal Mail postal strikes, but it is out of ScrawlrBox's hands, unfortunately, and the main important thing is that it gets to you eventually, and I'm very pleased to finally have mine. I've seen a lot of people saying that it's worth the wait, so I'm very curious what is in the box. I've managed to stay away from any spoilers, thankfully. And it feels substantial. It doesn't feel light, doesn't feel too packed though. So we'll definitely see what it is. If you do not know what a ScrawlrBox is, it is a monthly art subscription box where you pay £18.95 for the box itself, free postage and packaging in the UK, additional postage costs outside of the UK. You receive a bunch of mysterious art supplies every month, a zine that tells you a little bit about the supplies, a little bit about a featured artist where you receive some featured artwork as well. You also get to see some featured artwork from yourselves, those that tag Scrawlr Challenge on social media. You get featured in the Scrawlr Zine sometimes if you're picked, and that's usually the artwork from 2 boxes prior to this one. You receive a vinyl sticker, a little sweet, it's usually a British one, but sometimes they do branch out, and you also receive a Scrawlr Challenge, which is usually a word or phrase where you use just the supplies in the box to create a piece of artwork based on that. So anyway, let's get into it. I've been waiting long enough. Let's open this up and see what the supplies are. Oh, interesting. Okay, I've seen a few peeks. It looks very monochromatic, so I'm interested about that. Alright, so we're going to put this to one side and I will read this after we flick through. So this is the featured artwork for this month. Very nice. Looks like graphite and pencils. So I am not the biggest fan of this type of box where we receive charcoal or something like that, but I might be very, very surprised. This looks lovely though. I like this kind of rubbed out area where you see like the gaze of the person here. I very much like that. It's very nice. Very, very nice. So this is the featured artist. I'll let you read that yourself, but their name is Sophie, and they like to mix various techniques and materials: soul, heart, mythology, 3 pillars of my creativity. Lovely. And then this is their social media at the bottom there, which I will be going to follow after this segment of the video. Very nice. Okay, I'm not going to have a look at the paper just yet. Let's open this little package, which seems to have spilled out a little bit, but that's okay. Okay, let's put that to one side. Go over this. Okay, right, let's put that back up there. So this is the Scrawlr sticker. Again, another little segment of the artwork there. Put that on there. And let's get into the supplies. So let's start with the main one. The Derwent Precision mechanical pencil with eraser, 0.7mm. Now, we have received a Derwent Precision pencil a few years ago, quite a long time ago, so if you are a new subscriber you won't have seen this. But it's a very nice pencil. I do like it. It's got a little bit of weight to it. Doesn't feel cheap. It feels very, very nice. It's a very nice pencil, so I'm not unhappy with that. It's different, something nice, and a nice lead there. It doesn't say what softness it is. Oh, we've got a cat coming into view. Come on, little Fritz. Off you get, please. Cheeky bugger. Okay, so that's the first supply. Then on the list we have some Derwent pastel pencils in carbon black and titanium white. Again, we have received these Derwent pastel pencils before. I don't know if we received... No, I think we received both these colours with a mix of other colours. I think that was the predominant supply in the box. So if you have been subscribed for multiple years like I have, you will start to see these repeat supplies. And I think that's more because I don't think there's enough supplies in the world to constantly producing boxes with something new. So very interesting. And it also, if the featured artist uses these supplies, then that's what they're going to include in the box, isn't it? So but they're very nice, very soft, so we'll test those out shortly. Next on the list is a Derwent Pastel pencil sharpener. Again, we received that with these Derwent Pastel pencils before. It's a very nice sharpener. It does really work against those, because the thing you have with charcoal is it always snaps the lead, doesn't it, when you sharpen it? So it's a very, very good eraser for that. So it's handy to have in your supplies. Then next we have the, which one is it? This one. The Kohinoor Clutch Lead Holder 5.6 4B. Okay. Clutch lead holder. I'm curious. Click to release, but don't let the lead fly out. Wow. Wow, look at the size on this. Okay, so although we've had four supplies that we've already had before, this is very new. I've never seen this before. Look at the chunkiness of that lead. Incredible. Okay, and it's a 4B, so nice and soft, but not too soft. Very, very nice. 5.6mm thickness. That's a chunky boy, that. Okay, so that's lovely. Then we have the Kohinoor Jumbo Graphite Stick in 6B. Wow, look at that. Well, we've got a very good range of graphite in this one. Okay, so my immediate thoughts of, oh, this is just repeat supplies. I've combined the words there. This is just repeat supplies has diminished. We've got two very, very unique supplies here that I've not seen before, and I'm very curious as to how they feel. So it's not a charcoaly box, which is nice. It's a pencil box, so that's very different, something a little more up my street than a charcoal box. So I'm very pleased with that. That's very interesting. And then last but not least, we have the Frisk ScrawlrBox sketchbook. I can't say any words today. A5 140 GSM smooth white cartridge paper, 15 sheets, and it's in a ring bound sketchbook, which is a bit different to usual. So you can use this as a proper sketchbook, which is very nice. Paper's not too thick. It's lovely smooth-ish texture to it. Very nice. Okay, interesting. I like those supplies. And then the sweet of the box is a treacle toffee. These are one of my favourite. I love a treacle toffee. Very autumnal kind of sweet, these, so I'm excited to eat that later. Now, let's have a quick flick through of the Scrawlr Zine. So again, a little bit about the supplies in the box. Then a little bit more about the artist, which I will read off camera. Some Scrawlr tips and tricks, which I will read whilst we swatch the supplies like usual. And then the Scrawlr gallery. So this is from the Fascinating Folklore, which is the September box, where we received the Faber-Castell Pitt pens. Oh, there's some wonderful stuff in here. Very, very nice. I like this. Look at these. That's amazing, this one. Amazing. And this one, it's gorgeous. Some lovely ones. I always love seeing this, because you do discover some new artists when you see these Scrawlr galleries. Very, very nice. I will have a look at a few of those. And then the Scrawlr Extra is a little bit about ways sketching and drawing can boost your mood. So very interesting. So I'll read that again off camera. So that's it for the Scrawlr Zine. And then our Scrawlr challenge is leading light. Interesting. Step into the light. This month's box is inspired by our featured artist's emotive and monochromatic work. See what mood and movement you can create. Experiment with tonal values by building layers of shading and matte making to capture the delicate balance of light and dark in your creations. Lovely. So, very interesting. Like I said, I wasn't blown away at first, and then we received these two pencils here, which I think are great. These are going to definitely go into my Etcher mini satchel for going out and about and like mark making whilst I'm out travelling and things. So I'm excited to try these. Let's get to swatching. Let's read those Scrawlr tips and then see what art we can come up with leading light. There's quite a lengthy artist's advice and things to try. I'm going to pass over the artist advice and go straight to the things to try. So, they start off with accuracy. Getting your proportions right sets yourself for a good final drawing. A simple way to achieve this is by using grid. So you've seen me talk about the grid before if you've watched my inking videos. So it's where you grid up your reference, you grid up your paper, and it allows you to draw the reference photo in a bit better proportions and get it all looking how you want it. Then they go on to say, converting a reference picture to black and white will further enhance how you capture the details, as it allows you to see areas of light and dark better. You can use a filter on your phone to do this, super easy and really helpful. Begin your drawing with the lightest pencil using minimal pressure. HB or 2H are perfect for this. Work your way up to darker graphite, applying more pressure towards the final stages of your drawing. Graphite pencils are classified as either soft black B, hard H, hard black HB and firm F. The number next to the letter indicates the intensity. Higher the number, the higher the intensity. So a 6B pencil will be darker and softer than a HB, which will create lighter but firmer lines. Lightly block out any main areas of shadow once you have sketched in your main line work to set the foundation of where your darker areas will be. Try to leave any light areas as untouched as possible. The graphite block is ideal for this. Blending. Blend in between each layer of graphite for a more realistic texture. With a circular motion, you can use your finger or a bit of tissue to smooth out the graphite. You can also use a brush for a softer blend. This works really well with pastel pencils. Try not to scribble your pencil lines that you plan to blend, as scribbling marks are a lot harder to smooth out. Grip. The way you hold your pencil will affect how it lays down. To create a light, loose sketch, hold your pencil towards the end. For more exact, specific lines, hold your pencil closer to the tip for more control. The darker the graphite, the more shiny it will be. Use the black pastel pencil for your darkest areas to eliminate this. The white pastel is great for adding a pop of highlight. It layers well over the graphite and can be easily blended out if need be. So some really, really good things to try there. I did swatch those out, as you saw, and there wasn't really much to test other than how they lay over one another. The pastel pencils really struggled to lay over some of the graphite I found. But other than that, I think they were very nice. It was nice to see the softness of the pencils and how well they lay down, and it just gave me a really good idea as to how I wanted to use them. Now, in terms of the challenge, the leading lights, I immediately thought, well, actually I was discussing it with my mum, and we kind of came up with this idea of a bicycle, like an 80s bicycle with the lights on, kind of a bit Stranger Things inspired almost, and I thought the black handles where there's kind of like that rubber texture would be perfect to use the black pastel pencil with, and likewise with the white there to add the highlights to that, really subtle, and that worked really well. And then I went in with the graphite pencils in the various thicknesses and softnesses to create the almost metal looking areas of the bicycle, and I think it worked out really well. The pencils were really lovely to use, a lovely fine tip on them. Now that comes to my point about what we were almost lacking within this box. So you'll see me in a second use the rubber on the back of the Derwent precision pencil, which works fine for this, and I was surprised when I was swatching that it rubbed out the pastel pencil as well, very surprising, but it did, and it was fine for this piece, and that's all I will say. I do create another piece shortly, so it's not inspired by leading light, it's something else, but I'll go into that in a minute. And I did find that I couldn't rely just on that Derwent Precision pencil eraser. I did have to bring in a putty eraser for that. So that's one thing I'm lacking, and it's a shame because we receive a rubber in pretty much every box that we get, and the one box I feel like this would need a rubber because we're working with pencils. It didn't have one, and that's one thing I wish it did include. I also think, I mean, I use a piece of tissue here to smudge it. I mean, they could have included a little tissue or a little cotton bud, but again, I mean, that's not exactly like super important, but I do think an eraser, and I also think a little bit of sandpaper to sand back these thicker graphite pencils. It's not something that can go through the sharpener, and so in terms of sharpening those, it was kind of impossible. I didn't sharpen it throughout the whole time I was using it, but towards the end of my second piece I really lacked that fine tip and point, and that was a little disappointing. But I've tried very hard to not use anything extra. But this is my artwork for the Scrawlr challenge, the leading lights, and I liked the way it turned out. It's quite nice, but I kind of wanted a bit more of a challenge. So if you've stuck around for this long, I hope you enjoy the next piece, because it is actually inspired by my family's late dog. We've just recently put down our last family dog. She was very, very old, and I think it was her time. She was definitely not enjoying her life as a Springer Spaniel anymore, and she will be missed, but I thought I would do a little tribute to her, and I thought the pencils worked beautifully for that. So we start with the eyes. I kind of treated it like my inking, so I do apologise if you watch my inkings and you're a bit sick of seeing them. Also, spoiler alert, we will have a lot of inking videos in the new year, because I've had a lot of commissions over Christmas, but I can't show them till the new year. So just if you do enjoy them, then there's something to look forward to, and if you don't, apologies. But I did treat this as I would my inking. I started off with the eyes, you know, the soul of the piece. But all in all, I really enjoyed the way these pencils felt. It was really nice to layer them up, to use them from light to dark. You know, I sketched it out with the precision pencil. I probably went a little bit hard when I was sketching out, but I really wanted to get the shapes in there, make sure that I was doing it correctly. I kind of eyeballed this. I didn't use my gridding method like I usually do, as it wasn't a commission. I kind of thought I didn't need to put so much precision into it, and it worked out quite well. I think it turned out really proportioned and really nice, but it was really nice. I very much enjoyed this smaller of the two larger pencils. It really laid down some fine lines, as you can see here, but this is what I struggled with later on, because I couldn't sharpen it with the sharpener. I struggled to get these nice fine fur lines later on when I start doing the muzzle area. So you will see the quality, it's still there, but it's a little bit more kind of like shading than it is precision, like my inkings. So I did struggle with that a little bit, but I mean it worked out in the end, and I'm really pleased with it. And the really thick pencil is gorgeous to use, really, really nice and dark, and a beautiful lay down, soft and lovely. I didn't have to do any smudging for this. I just let the pencils do all the work, and it worked out really well. Like I said, I did have to include a bit of use of a putty eraser, more because I struggled to get the fine lines and I had to erase some bits, and I found that the rubber on the back of that precision pencil just wasn't really doing much for me, especially when I was coming to do some precise rubbings out. But I think the supplies in this box actually really, really pleasantly surprised me. I love it when the supplies, I have a preconception of them and they surprise me, and it definitely did that with this box. Very, very happy with it. And like I mentioned at the start, I will be including these two bigger pencils in my Etcher mini satchel, hashtag not sponsored. Because I just think they're a really good essential, and if you're wanting to do a pencil sketch like I have here, I think it's a perfect pair of pencils for your box. So if you don't have this box and you're watching these for inspiration, or maybe watching them for new supplies, I would advise this. Even if you're not a pencil lover or a pencil artist, they are a wonderful addition to your supplies. And although I probably won't do a November or December favourites, because I seem to be using the same supplies over and over, and especially now I'm doing commissions, these will definitely be this month's favourites. I'm going to use them a few more times, and I think maybe do some portraits of my other family dog, which we lost a few years ago, so to make it a lovely pair. But yes, I'm just going to let you finish the rest of this video, but I really enjoyed the box, really enjoyed the pencils especially, and I hope you've really enjoyed this video. So thank you very much for your patience, and thank you very much for sticking around if you have till this point. I hope you've enjoyed both pieces of artwork, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.